Deal between the UAW and Ford. We're digging more into what's actually in that agreement. To break it down for us, let's bring in WDRB business reporter Chris Otts.
Yeah, and Chris, we've heard a lot of tough talk from the UAW over these last few months. You've been sorting out the details of this contract. So what are the big wins in it for the union? Is it mostly the money?
Yeah, I mean, basically, yes.
Yeah.
So take a look at this chart here. The wage gains in this contract are substantial, and this is what the UAW was after mainly. If you notice, right at the start is the biggest jump, an 11% increase, and by the end of this, based on the inflation protection that they've also insured, the average auto worker at the top rate is going to be in the low $40 an hour, so that's some $80-something thousand a year. So that is the sort of headline win that the UAW can bring home to its members and show them what their wages are going to be and how they're going to change.
And Chris, we know the union didn't get everything they wanted. We heard about the battery plant. We heard about pensions. Where were the compromises there?
Yeah, so there's definitely some compromises. So the battery plants are a tricky issue, and those could never really be part of this negotiation. However, they did win some little back doors into the battery plants. You see, those are the ones going up in Glendale right now, Ford's biggest battery site. And for example, if you're a Ford worker and for some reason you were laid off from an assembly plant job at either of the plants in Louisville, you could go down to the battery plants under this agreement and keep your UAW status, keep your UAW wages, and everything that you're entitled to. So that's a small way in, but the union is going to have to organize these battery plants in the traditional way. The other thing is pensions. They talked a lot about retirement security and how older members have defined benefit traditional pensions like government workers do, and newer members just have 401ks. Well, what's happened is the union was not able to restore those traditional pensions, but they got a significant increase in the 401k contributions that the company makes. And the chief negotiator for the union put this in context last night.
At the end of this agreement, when you're at top rate, Ford will put $11,000 into your 401k each year. That's a 72% increase. We are boosting the hell out of these 401ks and doing everything we can to secure our retirements.
Oh, so that's a big addition to the 401k with profit sharing.
10% is a pretty good share.
Big jump. And with the profit sharing and that salary you mentioned, they can get into the mid-90s really by the time they reach peak. But they still haven't voted on this. What are the odds that something could go wrong here?
Well, that is really hard to say. You know, the union, remember, raised expectations quite a lot in the rhetoric that coming over the last few months. So how members feel about this, we don't know. The same thing happened with UPS, though, when we saw they approved their contract by a pretty overwhelming margin. Here in Louisville, tentatively November 12th is when workers are set to vote. And if they do not end up approving the deal, then we're probably back to the picket lines.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. And we can read more about it on WDRB.com.